Welcome back to another Hojo Ando Waza Wednesday. Today we're going to be discussing tips and tricks for using the makiwara. The makiwara is probably the most popular of all the Hojo Ando tools, and it is seen most common through all the different styles of karate and is used generally to hit and strengthen your punch, toughen your knuckles, etc. This makiwara, I have the shuri-te leather wrap up top. I have the traditional rice rope wrap here, which is the older way of doing the makiwara wrap. And then I have a lower rope, which is common for kicks. So like with the lower rope, you could work your front kick using the ball of the foot, or you could even strengthen your shin in this way. Important if you're going to be hitting with the shin to pull your toes back to flex the muscle around the shin. And the most important part of using the makiwara is not to hurt yourself. Some people have this philosophy where they hit it till their knuckles bleed and then they can't train or hit anything else for a long period of time. I want to really enforce that that is not the point of the makiwara. You should not be injuring yourself when you're just working out, trying to develop strength. Same thing if you go to the weight room. You shouldn't be injuring yourself trying to get stronger. So when you're working the maki, the main thing is having good form, hitting, pressing, and learning to lock down all your different muscle groups and making sure you have good bone alignment. The makiwara should have some flex. Honestly, this makiwara is probably a little stiff for most practitioners. You want it to have enough give to where you're not going to be damaging your joints. The nice thing with the makiwara here is when I'm hitting, it's going to let me know if I have a weak stance. It's going to let me know if I have bad bone alignment. So in order for me to get a good strike on this surface, I need to make sure my stance is good, my bone alignment is good, and then I can work in just some basic strikes. Now again, if you're a beginner, your strikes might only be this hard. That's okay. It's not about how hard you hit. It's about gradually increasing your strength over time. So it's okay to start soft. So again, your basic punch, you're working on strengthening the two large knuckles for striking. I like to do 10 and switch sides. 10 and switch sides. But everybody's going to find what's comfortable for them. You can also work a vertical punch. With your tatezuki or your vertical punch, you have a tendency to condition this knuckle more than with your seikenzuki. So again, you just work your vertical punch in this way. And again, I tend to hit with the top knuckle first, so I get a little better strength training on the top knuckle versus the seikenzuki, you get more on the middle knuckle. Now, if you only punch the makiwara, you're not doing anything for the tops of your knuckles here. So it's also important to work in some back fists this way and just sort of tap the maki with the back of your hand so that you get the whole knuckle nice and rounded and strong in working the makiwara this way, okay? And of course you can work it in combination, so I could back fist punch. Other things you can do with the maki is strengthening your shuto. Make sure you hit between your pinky knuckle and your wrist bone here. Hitting with either one of those bones is not going to be very pleasant, so you want to make sure you're strengthening just your shuto knife hand area. Make sure your fingers are tight and your bone is tight so that it doesn't wiggle around when you hit. And that pretty well covers the basic strikes. There are other strikes and things you can do, but for now, that'll cover your basics. As I mentioned before, the makiwara not only conditions your hand, but it also builds your striking power and makes you a lot stronger. And the reason for this is a couple of things. One is repetition. I generally hit this about 1,000 times a week, at least, minimum. And so just doing an extra 1,000 punches a week is going to increase my striking power. The other thing is, because it does move and flex, it provides a certain amount of resistance. That resistance is going to help you build muscle and increase your striking power. Welcome to another Waza Wednesday. Today we're going to be taking a look at some movements from the kata rohai. We've had a couple requests for bunkai from rohai. We're going to be looking at this movement in the kata, which is very similar to the kata chinto as well. So on this movement in the kata, you have one hand coming down and forward and the other hand coming up and pulling back, and the leg is lifting as well, which can be a strike. So if we take it off of a punch, for example, you could be blocking and pulling the arm forward and striking here, and then also throwing the knee strike at the same time. So again, as he throws this punch, and notice how I added some extra strike. So if I want to, for self-defense, I can actually hit on my way in, again, trapping this, breaking with the shoulder and knee strike. The shoulder break here, it's important to realize that this turning has a lot of power and a lot of body weight behind it. So as he comes in, you trap and turn, you have a nice quick break there and a strike down low for that knee strike. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more closer to the kata, as he comes in, you can grab the head and push it down for the knee strike. So again, coming in, strike, locking the arm, grabbing the head and knee strike. All right, so another follow-up option too, once you have them in this position, it's easy to throw them by either wrapping the leg around the head and kicking back, or just simply walking forward. Now let's take a look at this move from a clinch. When we're clinched up here, first thing I'm gonna wanna do is soften them up. So I can attack the eye with the thumb, I can hit the neck with the bicep or with the ridge hand. I can try to punch with the left. If he's got control of my shoulder, that may be difficult. I can also knee strike here, which fits with the application of the kata because this leg is coming up. As I strike, I'm gonna pull down on the head and lift the arm up. This gives me the same position as the kata, and again, if I work that knee strike to the head, I am in the kata. My next move can wrench this way. Okay, so again, we're clinched up here. I can attack the eye, I can attack the neck, knee strike to the groin, push down, knee strike to the head. As you can see, I'm positioned just like the kata. Now I can go into the next move of the kata here and wrench the elbow. Thank you for joining us for another Waza Wednesday. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 3 Marotta ukes from Pinan Yandan, followed by the knee strike. So when you're looking at your Marotta uke, in general, one hand is going to be blocking, the other one's going to be striking. So we're working on simultaneous block, strike, same time. This interrupts the timing to help slow down his second punch, as everybody's going to have more than one punch. So if I go block, punch, and he's going punch, punch, we hit each other at the same time. So it's important to get used to block, strike, same time. You can go on the inside, or if he punches, you can come on the outside as well. Looking at the easier application first would be taking it into the knee strike. So as he comes in, block, strike, knee strike. And you can always follow up with an osotogari sweep, which represents the leg coming down and even the turn in the kata. So as he comes in, 1, 2, 3. One time from this side, again, strike, knee, sweep. And you can lock or finish. Now we're going to take a look at the 2 Marotta ukes coming together, left and right. We're still going to be defending a right punch. As he throws that right punch, we're going to block, strike. I'm going to bring this hand down and grab up high as I can on the shoulder. I'm going to step through deep. This hand is going to pull down. This hand is going to pull down. So I have 2 hands pulling. I have leverage from the stance. I am also going to push on his arm with my shoulder. So again, when he comes in, 1, 2. This is a good way to take your students and emphasize the importance of a deep stance and using your body mechanics and leverage to bring an opponent down. So again, here, again, this hand pulls, because if I were to take this and touch it to the ground behind him, he has to go down. So I am pulling down on the hand as well as the shoulder and pushing with my own shoulder. So again, 1, this pulls down, this pulls down, this pushes, and I drive into my stance. There are other variations of this throw where you may leave the arm in front as well. So a lot of times we'll come here in training, especially with new students. Some people will work throws similar to this with the arm in front. That would look like this. I prefer to grab underneath, for me personally, because then I can pull with the arm and push with the shoulder. So I feel like I get a little bit more strength into the technique and get to use my body mechanics a little bit better. Welcome back to Waza Wednesday. Today we're going to be looking at some basic techniques using Tonfa. When you're looking at the Tonfa, you have several striking surfaces. You have the front from a punch, you have the long end this way, and you have the handle. The first thing we're going to talk about is the punch. When you're punching with Tonfa, you're going to have the wood side down. That's actually so you can crush your opponent's hand on the way in on your attack. So we'll pretend like his hand is here, so I'm not actually crushing his fingers. When you punch, you run right over the weapon. And again, if I were actually attacking him, I'd run over the weapon and follow through with my punch, either low or high, either way. So if he comes in with maybe a Jodan attack, block, strike, right through. So again, Jodan attack, block, this crushes that hand right as you come through with the weapon. Many times in Tonfa, you'll see things like figure eights. You're really not going to be doing figure eights with the weapon. It's strike, strike, then maybe striking across. So again, if he comes in with that Jodan attack, strike, strike this way. Okay, so again here, this first hit is to the hand. For safety, a lot of times when you're training with the weapon, you'll shoot above the hand so that you don't hurt your partner. And then again, coming back to the head. If you're new to the weapon, swing in front of the partner. Don't get close to your partner's head. So if you're newer with the weapon, hit and swing here. So I'm nowhere near hitting him versus coming here. You have to have a lot of control and be able to actually stop the weapon. Other ways you can use the weapon is this way to strike, like using a hammer, or to hook the weapon. So again, if he comes in with that Jodan, hook the weapon out of the way and strike this way or this way, right? Again, here, I can strike or I can even hook and bring him in to an attack. Now, as we talked about earlier, you can use this part of the weapon to smash. We used it earlier to smash the fingers. You can also use it to smash your opponent's face, for example. So if he comes in, you can smash this way using your Jodan uke.